Welcome into another quick 9 where I talk about the hot topics in disc golf for 9 minutes. And let's get into it. Las Vegas Challenge this past weekend was a great event, personally. I know we were missing a few of the top competitors in both MPO and FPO, but MPO still came down to a fantastic finish in between Kevin Jones and Calvin Heimberg. Plenty of guys in the mix to win the event going into the final 9, and truthfully, I think that's what makes the Las Vegas Challenge so much fun. Is yes, you can have the elements, and it can feel like I think actually the changes to the courses this year made it feel like less of just a bomber course. You had to be accurate and throw far to really make a difference, but I feel like it is a great way to start off the season. You always have somebody that's kind of off the radar in terms of the top 5 or 6 guys to win the event. Last year, Drew Gibson won. This year, Kevin Jones was right in the mix. You've had Ezra Aderhold in the mix. You have these guys that you don't necessarily see towards the top. I mean, we had James Proctor and Scott Withers bleeding after round 1. So, I like being able to see a lot of different names at the top. And unfortunately, I heard a rumor that people out there are saying that the Las Vegas Challenge isn't going to be on the tour here in a couple of years, which I don't know. I really like the event. I like when pros have to. Okay, I don't like it when they always have to deal with weather, but I do like when they have to deal with weather. That's why they are the professionals, and I'm sitting at home, not being a professional. They should be able to handle all of these things so much better. And if they need to go out and practice in the weather, then that's your off season. Go find different ways to improve throwing in the wind, in the cold, in the rain. I just did a snow round, and personally, I think it'd be so much fun to see the pros go out and play a snow round, just to see who's the best in those conditions. But I think I would be very sad to see the Las Vegas Challenge not on the Pro Tour anymore. Diving back into a little bit of the things, a couple of hot topics about LVC. You had Anthony Brella hitting a spotter. You had Katrina Allen. Actually, I think Anthony hit a couple of people because he had another disc go out of bounds and hit somebody's ankle, I think. Katrina Allen hit a golf cart that was on one of the golf paths. These things happen in golf. They happen in ball golf and disc golf. I truthfully don't think it's that big of an issue. I mean, you've had, wild situations in golf, people playing off of patios and in the bleachers, off of cart paths. These things happen. You are going to have errant throws, especially in those elements. I don't think it's that big of an issue. I don't think we see enough. When this is happening on 1% of throws, I don't think it's an issue. That's just my take on it. It adds a little bit. It stinks to see the guy in Anthony Brella throw OB and have that be such an impact on his round. But truthfully, he could, it wasn't a great shot. He could have thrown it better. He knew the people were standing there. That's on him to make those adjustments as well. Truthfully, I don't think they're that big of a deal. And a lot of people are making it out to where you need to move the cameras. You need to, the Disc Golf Pro Tour has to do a better job at making sure these things aren't happening. But we don't hear about these things 99% of the time because they don't happen that often. It was Paul threw and hit a goose. No, that doesn't happen every day. These are odd occurrences. Now, sure, if they start becoming regular, then it's an issue. But they're still happening on 1% of throws. I don't think it's a big deal. Now, moving on, there's been a lot of talk. I know the foundations of guys talk about it. Zach Melton went on a rant on Twitter about the conservative play of Kevin Jones down the final stretch. And truthfully, if you just look at a box score, it looks like that. He went +1, going par, 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 bogey. to finish off the tournament. Which, yeah, he had a 2-stroke lead, and that is a difficult stretch of holes. Brody Smith talked about it, and like there's 3 that you should bogey. I mean, you should birdie, but with the wind and how things were playing out, I don't fault Kevin for playing the way that he did. It just stinks that he had a obvious error on 18 that like ruined his chances of winning. Like Kevin, and it was just, this is the thing about golf and a lot of sports. It's a game of inches, and like Calvin Heidenberg threw first and landed on a foot patch that made him safe. Like anywhere else, there is a good chance that he goes OB as well, and this is a non-talking point. Kevin Jones could still easily win the event, and no problem. But Calvin Heidenberg hit his shot, got lucky on the landing spot, and Kevin Jones didn't throw it high enough, ended up in the water, and that was it. Kevin Jones also almost threw in from like 200 feet, which would have been freaking amazing. But yes, the aggressive play versus conservative play. Do you want to lose it on your own accord type of situation? I think Kevin Jones put himself in a very good position to come out with a victory. I don't think he lost it by going like parring out. If he would have parred out, guess what? He would have won. Like, actually, he would have lost by 1. So he would have had to make 1 throw. But that's fine. Like, he's going to learn from this. Kevin Jones is going to, I think he's been underrated the last year. People have said he was far worse than he was, his stats actually say. I'm excited for Kevin Jones going forward, and congratulations for Calvin Heidenberg. Like, he had the fight in him, and he made the throws, and he made the putts. Like, he deserves that win more than anybody. So, congratulations, Calvin. Lastly, going back to kind of the weather, there's been talks on Twitter. I believe it was Robert Burridge tweeted out something about start times and how there needs to be a fix to them. This is something I'm just going to harp back on my weather take. This is for you guys to get better at. Like, the weather is not going to be perfect outside. We have no control over it. If it's windy in the morning, it's windy in the morning. If it rains in the afternoon, it rains in the afternoon. Like, I'm sorry, but you're professional athletes. You need to be able to deal with the weather, and if you are upset about not being on the later cards because you're not on feature cards, guess what? There's an easy way to fix that. If you play better and you beat other people, you will be on feature cards and get those primo start times. That's just the truth of it. So that's my little rant for this week. I think 9 minutes almost on the dot. And until next time, I guess we have no Pro Tour event this week. Everybody's headed over to the Texas Swing, and they will play Waco next week, which is always kind of a interesting event. Usually see somebody odd pop off on that one too. But I'm interested to see if Ricky comes back. I haven't heard any news on whether he's looking to compete at Waco, if his wrist's still bothering him or not. But I guess we'll find out. See you next time on the Quick 9.